tell me about yourself. It's good.
Sure. Well, first, thank you for having me this evening. And if you don't mind, I'd like to share a bit about how I grew up and what brings me here today. So I'm a junior at the University of Virginia, majoring in financial mathematics and physics. I was born in China, and when I first came to US for pursue my high school and college education, I was only 16 years old. So I lived with a Polish immigrant family throughout my high school years, and was actually very grateful for the 3.5 years I spent with them. The father, Greg, was a truck driver and also the single source of income for the household. So their son, Jacob, and I, for the most of the times, were the only males left at the house. We would rise up early as 5 a.m. the morning to do chores, and and during the weekends and in the afternoons, we would do yard work for the neighbors, just to secure an additional income for the family. So at the same time, we both excelled academically and athletically in high school. So I think it was a very humble beginning for a 16-year-old who used to live comfortably in China. But it was also during that period of time that I learned the most important qualities of gratitude and hard work. And hopefully those would characterize me for the rest of my life. So academically, I was always being a talented student in analytical disciplines such as math and physics. I was born a problem solver, and I thoroughly enjoy researching on new concepts independently and making efforts to understand them, understand complex systems with whatever resource I can find. So as a result, I wanted to do research growing up. During my senior year of high school, I was staffed onto an experimental physics project focused on laser spectroscopy. I had minimum prior knowledge going into the project, but I quickly got myself up to speed through hours and hours of literature reading on my own. When I was finally assigned a desk and a range of spectrum to analyze, I wasn't expected to make much progress, just given that I was a high school kid, and the team of PhD students have been stuck on the project for almost a year. So, however, the hours of additional readings give me enough intuition, and my attention to detail sort of allow me to find a breakthrough discovery that will later help the team publish the paper 6 months later. I was awarded second author of the paper, and I thought it was an incredible achievement. There was definitely a lot involved, but coming out of that, I see myself as someone who has insatiable motivation to learn and improve. So up until this point, I've spent majority of my life building up a few foundational characters that will help me go long in many careers, but I didn't find my career interest until I joined the McIntyre Investment Institute, which is a student-run long-short equity fund at UVA. I instantly fell in love with doing market research and the complexity and the dynamics of the financial market. And I was thrilled to see that there's always something new you can learn on a daily basis. So consequently, I actively look for internships that would broaden my horizon in the finance world. And given that my only relative experience was physics research, I was sort of adopted by two search funds that are heavily focused on industry screening and deal sourcing. So I really enjoy my internships and I did well, but at the same time, I wanted to go through the best training platform in finance, which is investment banking, which will allow me to sort of gain exposure to a wide variety of deals and building a strong financial modeling foundation that will serve me well in my career. So after speaking with numerous bankers at whatever bank, including two directors, I'm hoping to make the next step forward of becoming an investment banker with bank. So that pretty much sums up why am I here today, and I'm very excited.
Okay. Have we edited your behavioral questionnaire yet? Thomas? Have we edited your behavioral questionnaire yet?
No, I only have the first 3 questions done for my first round. So I haven't finished all of it yet. I'm on the last few, like last 2. I'm going to finish it and send it over. But this is what I said during the interview, actually.
So this answer you just gave is with the feedback incorporated already?
No.
Okay. So we gave you feedback, but you haven't incorporated it yet.
No, I haven't got any feedback yet.
Oh. I thought you got feedback on the first three. Not yet?
Not yet.
Okay. Are you waiting on Ruki for that or?
No, just I mean, like there's nothing coming up yet. Like I'm still waiting to hear back from them, but you know, maybe the next few days would be great. Especially I was sending a sort of updated version with all my answers before. I only have like three.
Okay. Um, so the reason why I ask is I think this answer needs a good amount of work, to be honest. It's way too long in the beginning. Like the part that's leading up to everything leading up to like the McIntyre Institute of or the McIntyre Investment Institute. That's kind of like when you started talking about college stuff and more importantly, like your finance experience. And so I would say like your college and your finance experience stuff was maybe like 1/3 of your answer. And the first 2/3 of your answer was all about like growing up without a lot of money and like the research that you did in high school, the scientific research that you did in high school. Like that was like the meat of your answer, which if anything, I think the weighting needs to be the other way around, where we need to focus a lot more on what happened in college, which is a lot more relevant to bankers and is what they care about. Like most bankers don't really care what you did prior to college, unless like the thing you did in high school was some like super amazing thing. Like, I had another client who did a lot of scientific research in high school, but he was like, competing nationally and internationally, going to like the Intel Science Fair or whatever. And he was, you know, placing at those types of competitions. And even then, I don't think we spent too much time talking about it. It's just like we just kind of weave it into the story and touch on it very briefly, and then we move on. Right. So I think like honestly, when I was listening to your answer, like um, you started losing me a little bit because I was like, okay, where's he going with this? Right. And I kept paying attention because I'm giving you a mock interview right now. I had to pay attention to be able to give you feedback. But if this was like a real interview where I don't have to pay attention or I don't have to give you feedback afterwards, then I would just tune you out. Right. So that's not what you want. Right. I think like a couple other things too, like you're you were like really formal when you first started out. Like the first sentence you said is something like, I don't remember verbatim anymore, but it's like, hey, thank you for having me here this evening, something, 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 right? I think like personally, I don't like being overly formal in these interviews because you want you want the interview to feel more conversational. Like the more this interview can feel like, oh yeah, I'm just like chatting with a friend, just having a casual conversation with a friend. I think the better it is because that means like the more like the easier it is gonna be for your interviewer to be like, yeah, I like this guy. Yeah, like I can see myself grabbing a beer with him or whatever. The more you're like super formal with your language, um, the more you feel like an interview. It's like everything has to be super serious and formal. I think that typically actually works against you. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely.
So just like, and I think like that is a good segue into also your delivery. Like, you can go back and watch this recording afterwards, which is always a good thing to do, is like watching recordings of your own interviews. Cause like sometimes when you watch yourself, it's kind of trippy. Like you start seeing things that you didn't realize you were doing. But I think that like the way you deliver the answer, um your facial expression is actually pretty like stoic. Like there's not a whole lot of expression, and also your delivery is kind of just I don't know. I don't know if the word is like flat, but it's like very even. It's just like there's no there's no variance in the way you talk, right? It's just like very matter of fact. You're just like saying whatever it is that you wrote out for your answer, and that is not like that to me is not engaging. Does that make sense? So like from a body language and a delivery standpoint, like you want to have a bit more inflection in your voice. Like sometimes, it might be higher pitched, sometimes you might come back down. Like sometimes you might speed up a little bit, and sometimes you might slow it down, or you might even have like a deliberate pause in between saying, one thing to the next, right? And so that that's how you keep people engaged, right? And like once in a while, you want to like mix in a smile. You don't have to like smile the entire time because like that's kind of awkward, right? But like, if you're talking about yourself, you're telling your own story, right? And like you have an interesting. In fact, I would say like even your story growing up, the thing about like you know not having a lot, like I'm not saying you can't talk about that, but usually when you talk about stuff like that, you want to just touch on it very lightly. Like you can weave in the fact that I think you said this was your foster parents, if I'm not mistaken. Um,
Yes.
yeah, so you can mention that you grew up with foster parents. You can mention that your foster parents didn't have a lot or whatever. But like if you harp on it too much, it almost feels like you're trying to get some like sympathy from me. It's almost like you're trying to get some sympathy points, which like nobody wants to hear like a deliberate sob story. Right? I'm not saying that's what you were doing. I'm saying that's how it can come off, right? So
Yeah.
I've had another client who also, didn't grow up like super well off, and he did mention that in his interview, but like the way he did it was he just said he just said like yeah like you know he just said like oh no like I grew up I forgot exactly what he said, but he's like oh sorry that was my daughter. He basically said like like growing up like we didn't have a lot, or like we didn't have a lot of money, and that's actually why I became really interested in how money works and how the financial markets work and how like so he touched on it. He touched on the fact that he didn't have money, but he used that to segue into like his interest in finance. That's how he first became interested in finance, right? And even just by lightly touching on it without saying like, oh, I have to wake up at 5 a.m. to go and like help make money and blah 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 blah. He already got the point across that he wasn't like born with privilege, and he had to overcome more than maybe what most other people had to. Right? It's like people can infer things on their own. You don't always have to um, spell everything out for them. Like, oh, I had to wake up so early. I had to work so hard. Blah 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 blah. Right? Does that make sense? So
Yes.
some things you want to just like touch on it lightly and let them infer and draw their own conclusions, which are pretty obvious anyway. And then some things you actually want to spell out, because if you don't spell it out, they're not going to understand the point that you're trying to get across. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So I know that was a lot of like feedback, but like, oh, and then one more thing too, like even the last third of your answer, which is the part starting from like the McIntyre Investment Institute onwards, and then you talked about like join two search funds, and then now you want to do investment banking or whatever. Like I said, we want to make that part of the answer longer, right? We want to make that like the meat of the answer, and so how I would do that is like you can elaborate a little bit more on what you did inside of the McIntyre Institute, Investment Institute. You can elaborate a little bit more on what you did at the search fund, or like it's usually like what you did and what you learned from doing what you did, right? Or both, right? And again, I'm not saying like get super into the weeds, but even if you just only had like 2 to 3 sentences on each of those experiences, it would feel more complete versus you just saying, yeah, and I joined 2 search funds. Okay, but like, so what? Or like, how is that relevant? Right? At least tell me like, at these search funds, like, this is what I was responsible for, and here's what I learned. And both of those things will basically help them see the relevance to banking or how it ties back to banking or how it makes you a better candidate for banking. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So that was a lot of like areas for improvement, but I think like the biggest thing is you need to just finish your behavior questionnaire and submit it for feedback, because if you get the feedback, like I think like a lot of these issues will just go away because we'll call it out for you, right? Hey there, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're looking for more customized advice that's tailored for your specific situation, then I invite you to book a free strategy session with our team at the link below. We'll talk to you soon.